Good morning, boys and girls in grade 9. My name is Joseph, and my surname is Mtembu. Today we are going to learn about addition and subtraction of common fractions. This is a very much important concept in mathematics, which you should be able to command, because we're going to use fractions more in our lessons. When you do your equations, when you do your ratios and rates and your proportions, you'll be banking on this knowledge. Okay, let's go on. What is a common fraction? A fraction is a way of representing a number of parts of a whole. We are taught in lower grades that a fraction is a part of a whole. Indeed, a fraction is a part of a whole, and it comprises of a numerator and a denominator. So I've written 8 over 15. So your 8 is your numerator and your 15 is your denominator. And the whole thing makes up a fraction. So let us try and define a denominator, and let us try and define a numerator. A numerator tells us about the number of parts. That's what we get from a numerator. So if they gave you a classwork of 5 activities, and you got 3 activities out of 5, so your 3 is written as 3 over 5. So that 3 indicates your numerator, and it tells you that you got 3 out of the total of 5 activities. Now your denominator tells you the total number of parts that make up the whole. Like the example I gave you, you got 5 activities, so 5 makes a denominator, because it tells you the total number that makes up the whole. Your whole is 5 activities, and 5 is your denominator. So when we add and subtract fractions, we follow certain procedure, which I'll call them steps. But we're going to start with adding fractions first, and thereafter will be subtracting fractions. So these are the steps which one has to follow when he adds fractions. Step 1, you find the lowest common multiple of the denominator. So you know what is a multiple. Since grade 4, you've been doing multiples. Your factors and multiples, that's the concept you've been working on since primary school. Step 2, you write the fraction as equivalent fraction with the same denominator. So you write the fraction as equivalent. So you've done equivalence in grade 4, in grade 5, up to grade 7. So you must be familiar with the word equivalent. So when I speak of equivalent fractions, I mean if you've got a half, it is equivalent to 2 over 4, it's equivalent to 5 over 10, it's equivalent to 6 over 12. Those are equivalent fractions. So, but here, our equivalent fractions should have the same denominators. Step number 3, write with a single denominator and add numerators. So if we've got same denominators, I mean our denominators are the same, they'll go to step number 3, whereby we take one single denominator and write and add the numerators. And the last step, you simplify your answer. Let's go to the example and see. Okay. Remember, we spoke about the first steps to follow, and I've got the example here to show you how I'm going to follow those steps in solving this example. So we've got 2 fractions here, which we need to add. That is 3 over 4 and 5 over 6. Now, the first step, it says, let's go to the first step. find the lowest common multiple of denominators. So you must be able to identify denominators. So 4 is our first denominator. So we must find the multiples of 4. Then the other denominator is 6. So we must find multiples of 6. So let's go on. Now I'm going to write 4 here, and I'll write 6 here. So I'm going to find the multiples of 4 and the multiples of 6. So the multiples of 4 will be 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Let's stop there. Let's go to the multiples of 6. It will be 6, 12, 18. Let's stop there. Already, I can see some commonality here. I've got 12 as a multiple of 4, and I've got 12 as a multiple of 6. Hence, I've stopped. I don't want to continue because of I've already found what I'm looking for. Now, 12 is a multiple, is a common multiple, so, and it is the lowest common multiple because besides 12, there's no other lowest common multiple between these two numbers. So I'm going to write my 12, so it's going to be 3 over 12 plus 5 over 12. Then the next step says, that's the second step. Write the fractions as equivalent fraction with the same denominator. That's what we have done. Then step number 3, write with a single denominator and add the numerators. So we're going to write them with a single denominator. Oops, sorry. So it's going to be 12. So 12 is the single denominator. So we're going to say, how many times does 12 goes into 12? So 12 goes to 12 one times. And then write it there and multiply it with your numerator, which is 3. Then you add, there's an addition sign. How many times does 12 goes into this denominator? Goes also 1 times, and you multiply with your numerator, which is 5. So 1 times 3 is 3 plus 1 times 5 is 5 all over the single denominators. So 3 plus 5, so we add now. So 3 plus 5 will give you 8 over 12. That's what we have done. So let's look at step 4. Write the answer as a fraction in its simplest form. What does it mean? If it is possible to simplify this fraction further, do it. So how are we going to do it? Is by getting the factors. So we're going to look at the factors. If we could get the highest common factor of 8 and the highest common factor of 12, which is common, and then divide 8 and 12 by that highest common factor. So I'm going to look to write 8 here, and then I'm going to write 12 here. Okay, no, they are the same color. Let me use a different color, 12 here. So the factors of 8, I'm looking for the factors of 8. The factors of 8 is a number which can divide into 8 without a remainder. So it's going to be 1, it's going to be 2, it's going to be 4, and 8. Because 1 into 8 goes 8 times, 2 into 8 goes 4 times, 4 into 8 goes 2 times, and 8 into 8 goes once. So these are the factors. Now I've got the factors of 8. I'm going for the factors of 12. So the factors of 12, 1, I've got 2, I've got 3, I've got 4, I've got 6, and 12. Now, I want the highest common factor. So 4 is here, and also 4 is here. So that means 4 is common factor for both 8 and 12, and is the highest common factor for me. And I'm going to take it as my highest common factor. And I'm going to divide the two numbers by 4. And I'm going to say 4 into 12 goes how many times? It goes thrice. 4 into 8 goes how many times? It goes twice. So that will be my simplest form of this fraction. I'm going to give you some few minutes for you to work on this activity. So our first activity was to add 3 over 4 with a half. Now, remember step number 1 is that our denominator should be equivalent or should be the same. So we're going to make this one, that is this 2, to be the same as that 4. But if you look at 2, 2 is the multiple, is a factor of 4. 4 is the multiple of 2. So for you to get 2, you have to multiply this 2 by 2. So I'm going to multiply by 1. What do I mean by that? If I've got 3 over 3. 3 over 3 equals to 1. If I've got 4 over 4, 4 over 4 equals to 1. So I'm going to multiply here this fraction by 1, which is 2 over 2. So it's going to be 3 over 4 plus half times 2 over 2. Sorry for that. So 2 times 2, I multiply the denominators first. 2 times 2 is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. No, 2 times 2 is 4. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Okay. So I've got 2 over 4 plus 3 over 4. So my denominators are now equal or the same. So I'm writing it as a single denominator. Now, I start with this fraction. I say 4 into 4 goes how many times goes? Only once. Then I multiply that 1 with my numerator. So it's going to be 1 times 3 plus 4 into 4 goes once. Then I multiply that 1 with my numerator. So this one is a plus. Okay. This is 3 over 4. And this one is 1 times 3 plus 1 times 2. So it's 1 times 3 is 3 plus 1 times 2 is 2 over 4. Then I add them. 3 plus 2 is simple arithmetic, is 5 over 4. That is my answer. So I cannot simplify this any further. I can't simplify it any further. Okay? Number B. Number B is 3 over 7 plus 5 over 9. Remember, we spoke of multiples. So, and we spoke of the common multiples. So we're going to get multiples of 7 and get the multiples of 9 and get the common multiple of the 2. And from those common multiples, we take the lowest common multiple and make it our common denominator. So 3 over 7 plus 5 over 9. It's easy to get it. The best way to do this, if you multiply 7 by this numerator, being a whole, and if you multiply this 9 by this denominator being a whole, you multiply 7 by 9 over 9, you multiply 9 by 9 over 9. So this gives you, it will equate our denominator. So if I'm saying 3 over 7 times 9 over 9, (3 over 7 times 9 over 9 plus 5 over 9 times 7 over 7. So what we have done here, we've multiplied by 1 and we've multiplied by 1 because 9 over 9 is 1 and 7 over 7 is 1. So I'm going to multiply the numerators first. 3 times 9 is 21 over 7 times 9 is 63. Plus, there's the addition sign, 5 times 7 is 35 over 9 times 7 is 63. So I've got my denominators are the same. So they are equivalent, they are the same, they are equal. So I'm going to write it as a common denominator for all these two fractions. So 63 into 63 goes only once. So I'm going to multiply my 1 by my numerator, which is 21, plus 63 into 63 also goes again once. Then I'm going to write 1 here and multiply it by my numerator, which is 35. Now, 1 times 21 is 21, plus 1 times 35 is 35. Anything multiplied by 1 is that particular thing. So over 63. So I'm going to add. When you add 21, and 35. So I'm adding my numerators. 1 plus 5 is 6. 2 plus 3 is 5 over 63. So that is my answer. Can I simplify it further? Yes, I think so. If I could check the factors of 56 and the factors of 63 and get the common lowest factor and then divide 56 by that one and 63 by that one. But I'm not going to, I'm leaving it to you to go and do it because of time factor. Let's go to the last exercise I gave you. 3 over 4 plus 3 over 8 is the same procedure we've done in number 1, we've done number 2, which we'll be doing in number 3. The very same procedure. Number 1, we look at the denominators is 4. The denominator of this fraction is 8. Now, we have to equate or make these denominators the same. So, for us to make these denominators the same, if you look 4 is a factor of 8. 8 is a multiple of 4. So it's easy to work with this. If a number is a factor of the other one, and the one is a multiple of the other one, it's easy to work with them, because automatically I know that 4 goes how many times to 8? Goes twice. So 4 times 2 is 8. So I can multiply this fraction by 2 over 2, which is 1. So by multiplying by 2 over 2, I didn't make any change because it's the same fraction. So it's going to be 2 over 2 times 3 over 4. It's going to be 3 over 4 times 2 over 2 plus 3 over 8. So 3 times 2 is 6 over 4 times 2 is 8 plus 3 over 8. Now my denominators are the same. It's 8 and 8. This fraction is 8 as a denominator. This one is 8 as a denominator. So I'm going to write it as a common denominator, which is 8. 8 into 8 goes once. I multiply it by 6 plus 8 into 8 goes once. I multiply that one by 3. Now 1 times 6 is 6. So I write 6 plus 1 times 3 is 3. Then I write 3 all over the same denominator. Now I add my numerators. 6 plus 3 is 9. So my answer will be 9 over 8. Can I simplify it further? I think no, you can't simplify it further unless if you want to get maybe a mixed number fraction. But let's leave it here because we're still going to do mixed number fractions. So let's leave it here. Let's go on. That was addition. Now we're going into subtraction. Subtracting fractions. When we subtract fractions, we follow the same steps we followed when we add fractions together. But when we subtract the numerators from each other, we may get a negative numerator as our difference. Because here, remember, when we add and when we subtract, in a fraction, we've got a numerator and a denominator. So we don't add denominators, we don't subtract denominators. Denominators, we look at the common multiples when we work with denominators, common lowest multiple, and write it as a common denominator for the two fractions, and then you either add or subtract them, depending on the instruction. So we are not changing anything. We follow the same procedure we followed when we add. But here, it might happen that your numerator of one fraction is lower in value to the other. So you end up subtracting the bigger number in value from the smaller number or the lowest number in value. And then therefore you'll be getting a negative numerator. Let's go to the method or the steps. Steps are the same, there's no difference. Find the lowest common multiple of the denominators. That's what we did with addition. Write the fraction as equivalent fraction with the same denominator. That's what we did. Again, write with the single denominator and subtract the numerators. Here, we don't add, but we subtract. In addition, we're adding, but here we subtract. Write the answer as a fraction in the simple. It is possible for you to simplify it further. Do it. Let's go to the example. Let's look at our example. 3/4 subtract 2/3. We subtract 2/3 from 3/4. Denominators, we identify them. 4 is our denominator for this fraction, and 3 is our denominator for this fraction. So we're going to make these denominators the same. So for us to make this denominator the same, we're going to look for the multiples of 4 and look for the multiples of 3, or you can either multiply by 3/3 this fraction and multiply this fraction by 4/4. Either way. Let's start with common multiples. So I'm going to write of 4 is 4, is 8, is 16. No, before 16, there is 1. 12. We've got 12. Then we've got 16. And then of 3, someone is asking me if they have to follow a particular sequence. For you to be easy to work with, let them follow a particular sequence. And the sequence is ascending order in terms of value. So 3 will be 3. I'm speaking of multiples. 3, 6, 12. Immediately I stop here because I don't want to waste time. 12 and 12. I've got 12 as a common as a multiple for 4, and I've got now 12 as a multiple for 3. So I'm going to take it as my common multiple for those two numbers. Okay? Now it's going to be, I'm taking 12. So I'll be saying 4 goes how many times in 12? It goes 3 times. Then I multiply 3 with my numerator, which is 3, and put that sign there, which is minus. 3 into 3 goes 3 into 12. It goes 4 times. Then multiply 4 with my numerator, which is 2. Now 3 times 3 is 9. Minus 4 times 2 is 8/12. So 9 minus 8 gives you 1/12. Can I simplify it further? No. You've got an activity to do. And this activity, I think, is 3 activities. 5/6 minus 3/4, 7/12 minus 4/6, 3/4 minus 3/8. I'm giving you some few minutes to work on these activities. Please work as a team. Have your partner and work on them. Have your group and work on those activities. And I expect each and every member of the group to participate. I'm giving you just some few minutes. Thank you. Okay, I think we are all done. So with this one, I'm going to do only the first one, and then the rest, you can do it yourself because it's the same procedure in answering. But I've gave you two methods. I'm going to use only one method. All right. So I'm going to do 5 over 6 subtract 3 over 4. So here, I'm going to look for the multiples of 6 and the multiples of 4. So the multiples of 6 are 6, 12, 18, 24. And the multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12. So you stop at 12 because 12 appears at 6 and at 4 as a multiple. So I'm going to take 12 as my common multiple, and I'm going to say 6 into 12 goes twice. I multiply by 5 minus. 4 into 12 goes thrice. I multiply it with 3. So 2 times 5 is 10, subtract. 3 times 3 is 9 all over 12. 10 subtract 9 is 1 over 12. That is your answer. So these ones you can do them. That's number B. 7 over 12 minus 4 over 6. Can do them as a group in the same, following the same procedure, which I've done in number A. Number C also, you can do it as a group following the same procedure as I've done in number A. Now, we're going over to mixed number fraction. What is a mixed number fraction? A mixed number fraction is a whole number and a fraction, which can be changed into an improper fraction. So we've got proper, improper, mixed number fraction. So it's a whole number and a fraction. What do I mean by that? So a mixed number fraction is a fraction like if I've got 2 and 3 over 4 is a whole number fraction and a fraction. Changing mixed number fractions to improper fractions, you've done that in the previous grade. Let's go to our example. Change the mixed number fraction below to an improper fraction. How do I change it? This is revision. You've done that in grade 6 and 7 and 8. So how do we change it? We multiply our whole number by our denominator, which is 5. 5 times 1, and we add our numerator, which is 3. So it's going to be 5 times 1, which is 5, plus 3 gives you 8 over 3. I mean 8 over, the denominator is 5. I'm sorry about that. So it's going to be 8 over 5. But this example was to refresh you, to remind you on changing mixed number fractions to improper fractions. An improper fraction is not a proper fraction. Because if it was a proper fraction, your numerator will be lower in value to your denominator. Here, numerator is bigger in value to your denominator. So we are adding and subtracting mixed number fractions. Let us do this example. Let's add. There are 2 ways of doing it. The first way is by adding your whole numbers separately from your fractions. You add them first, and you add your fractions later. Or you can work concurrently with both your whole numbers and your fractions. So we separate them, put them in brackets, and work concurrently adding them. So let me show you. So I'm taking whole numbers apart. I mean separate from fractions. It's going to be 1 plus 1, put them in brackets, plus 3 over 8 plus 5 over 16. Okay? So 1 plus 1. So I'm going to add this. It's going to give me 2 plus 3 over 8 and 5 over 16 is the same procedure we've done with addition and subtraction of common fractions. So my LCM is 16. Now I'm working with this. So 8 into 16 goes twice. I multiply 2 by 3. So it's 2 times 3 plus. 6 into 16 goes once. I multiply that by 5. Then my answer is 2 plus 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 times 5 is 5 over 16. 2 plus 6 plus 5 gives me 11 over 16. Then my answer 2 plus 11 over 16 is 2 and 11 over 16. That's my answer. That's the first way of doing it. The second way of doing it is to change this into improper fraction and then follow the same procedure we followed when we add. So I'm going to change this to improper fractions. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 3 is 11 over 8 plus 16 times 1 is 16 plus 5 is 21 over 16. Now, same procedure we've been followed the 4 steps. LCM is 16. 8 into 16, we are here now on this. 8 into 16 goes twice times 11 plus 16 to 16 goes once times 21. 2 times 11 is 22 plus 21 all over 16. 2 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 2 is 4 all over 16. So 16 to 43. Let's check. How many 16 do you have in 40? How many 16s are we having in 43? It should be 2 16s. And then, why I'm saying it's 2? Because 16 plus 16. 6 plus 6 is 12. Carry 1 is 2 plus, gives you 32. Or the other one can say 16 times 2. Okay? The other one can divide 43 by 16. But I don't want to go that route. Then it remains, then you subtract 32 from 43, then you get 11 over 16. That is your answer. Because if we say 43 subtract 32, 3 subtract gives you 1, gives you 1. So it get 11. That's why I got 11 over 16. Let's go to example number 2. We follow the same route. I'll do the same thing. 4, I add first the whole numbers. I separate them. 4 minus 3 plus. I'm putting plus because these fractions have been added into these whole numbers. So I'm not going to put subtraction. 1 over 4 minus 2 over 3. So 4 minus 3 is 1 plus. 4 over 3, 1 over 4 minus 2 over 3. My LCM, what will be my LCM? Yes, it will be 12. So 4 into 12 goes thrice. I multiply it by 1 minus 3 into 12 goes 4 times. I multiply it by 2. 1 plus 3 times 1 is 3 minus 4 times 2 is 8 over 12. Then it will be 1 plus 3 minus 8. Remember, negative integers. The answer will be, let me put brackets so that I should not confuse my signs. Then it will be negative 5 over, okay, sorry about that, negative 5 over 12. All right, 1 plus negative 5 over 12. Let's take it further down. So, this is negative and negative. When I multiply the signs, negative times positive gives you negative. So it's going to be 1 minus 5 over 12. Now here I'm going to subtract 5 over 12 from 1. Now, to subtract this, I followed the very same steps I followed when I added and subtracted. So I'm going to make 12 my LCM. So it's going to be 12. Remember, 1 is 1 over 1. It's not just 1. It's 1 is a fraction. It's 1 over 1. So 1, okay, let me do it the other way. Let me put it like this. Take it and say it's 1 over 1, subtract 5 over 12, because 1 over 1 is 1. So my LCM is 12. So 1 goes into 12 times 1, subtract. 12 into 12 goes once, subtract times 5. So 12 times 1 is 12, subtract. 1 times 5 is 5 all over 12. 12 subtract 5, my answer is 7. Sorry. This is 12 over 12. Then 12 subtract 5, my answer is 7 over 12. Can I simplify it further? No, I can't simplify it further. You can do this the other way around by doing this. I'm leaving it to you. I want you to do it as a group now. You're going to get 7 over 12 as the answer by first turning this into an improper fraction, and this fraction into an improper fraction, and subtract. When you subtract, you follow the same procedure. After you have done that, these are your homework activities, which I want you to go and practice on at home. This is your homework. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best.